Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is well and truly Morbin time. Morbius has been announced and released on Netflix. Amazing. Obviously, this movie... oh, goodness gracious me. This movie, even its own stars, actors, don't like it. You know, you've got the likes of Matt Smith coming out and saying the film was thrown under the bus, it didn't quite work out. Which, yeah, sure, like, I agree. Absolutely was thrown under the bus. But like I said, it's Morbin time. The movie headed straight to Netflix. It's unlikely to get a sequel, although this whole It's Morbin time business has seen the film get re-released in theatres and things like this. And in terms of a sequel, I think what is potentially so intriguing about this whole It's Morbin time movement, it's the second most popular movie on Netflix as of yesterday. So there is the potential chance we'll get a sequel. Oddly enough. I know, I honestly don't know quite what to think about it. It's that kind of fan movement again that we've seen time and time again from certain bits and pieces. And I have to respect it. Just the fact that there's a fan movement that can get things done like this, I do respect it. But Morbin time has currently seen the film fly to the second most popular film on Netflix. So despite critical lambasting, Sony Pictures' Morbius has clearly developed a cult following, which is evident from the movie's placing on Netflix's most watched list. I think I can't quite fathom why people enjoy this movie so much. Maybe it's the meme. I'm going to go out on a limb and say I think it's the meme. Or essentially, maybe another way I can look at this is that this film came to Netflix and people that couldn't be bothered to watch it in theatres have flocked to Netflix to watch it. That's the only thing that I personally can think of. Or the Morbin time fan movement is such a meme, people are just leaving it running. Although, I'm not 100% aware of how Netflix handles their metrics. Whether just one household repetitively playing the film can account for multiple views or not. I'm not overly sure. Maybe anyone in the comments that is aware of this can let me know. But like I said, Morbius did not receive a warm welcome from critics or fans. And what I mean by that is, you know, the critical response was not very good. And then when you look at the amount of people that went to actually view it, not a lot of people viewed it, although those that did liked it. So I guess the way to look at that is, although fan response was positive, there wasn't enough of a fan response, therefore it didn't quite hit the ground running with the wider audience, therefore it's not a liked property in the wider metric, I guess. It's a long-winded way of saying it's not very good, no one could be bothered to go watch it. Those that did liked it, and maybe they went out to watch it because they were primed to like it. So yeah, critical and fan response was not good, although the fan response, those primed to like it, did like it. But Sony Pictures' Spider-Man spin-off did fare slightly better with audiences, and has since gone on to find a loyal cult following. I guess they do this... I mean, it has to just be for the memes. They must be in it for the memes. I'm not overly sure why else. It has to be the memes of it all. Now, that's, of course, whether the majority of fans actually believe the movie is better than its reputation suggests, or simply having a bit of fun is obviously up for debate. I'm on the it's a meme side. It has to be a meme. It must be a meme. But either way, Morbius is measly 15% on Rotten Tomatoes critic score, which I lost track of how low it had gone, but 15%. And you know what's funny? This is what it would have been if more people had watched it, I think, for the audience's response. Because the audience's is 71%, which is a high rating. You know, that's not bad. But it's got barely any people watched it, and barely anyone bothered to review it. So I think this is one of those rare times, I personally think, that when, you know, the critic score is so low that if the quantity of worldwide audience had actually watched this film, it probably would have been on par with the critics. So the studio attempted to capitalise by re-releasing Morbin Time in theatres, and that was a big misstep. Of course it was, because Sony, why did you take a bunch of, you know, Reddit, subreddit people and Twitter Morbin Time people seriously? Goodness me. But the movie has now, of course, proved to be a huge success on Netflix. But again, we don't know the actual metrics of it, so I'd be keen to see what that is. The Jared Leto starer has been climbing up the streaming chart since debuting on the platform on September 9th, and now sits at second place in its top 10 film list, behind Netflix original End of the Road. So not exactly like top quality films for it to be up against. But I would be curious, because there's you know, Samba TV, for instance. I don't know whether they're able to do any metrics on this, whether they can assess how many households have watched it. I don't think Samba TV works like that, in fairness. That's me just thinking out loud. But it'd be good to see the metrics of how many households have watched it. Not how many views it's had, but how many individual households. Because I think we'll then find out that it's definitely just for the memes. Now, this article posits that it's a decent chance a lot of people who skip Morbius in theatres are simply tuning in to see how bad it actually is. So there is a potential for that, but it'd be interesting to see, again, like, I wonder whether Netflix keeps a track of the overall viewer retention for each product. Because if so, that would be fascinating to see. But isn't this just one of those hilarious things? It's Morbin time, ladies and gents. Apparently it is on Netflix, anyway.